of YouTube. So welcome to the podcast, listeners. Welcome to the people here live with us, with me. And welcome to the people who listen in the future. So today, what I thought we would talk about is one of the more popular questions that I get. Yeah, Denise, I royally messed things up just a moment ago. Yeah, it's good now. Thanks, Chuck. Yeah, Denise, yeah, I royally messed things up about 5 minutes ago, which was like 2 minutes before I was going to go live because I'm pushing the capabilities. The fan on my laptop went off and went on, and I'm like, okay, I'm pushing the limits. But that's what we do, right? We figure out what works by trying. So today I thought I would go over one of the most common questions that I get, which is, so I've got a trip planned for Las Vegas. People tell me, what do I do? What do I do to win? That's lots. Maybe they're going there for a conference. Maybe they're going there for a vacation. Certainly people in California love to go to Las Vegas. Well, there's some parking fees and some other things that are going on, which not so much the parking fees, but the lower odds on weekends. We'll discuss where that comes from and why that's happening. But it really does affect. It takes advantage of visitors from California or visitors to Las Vegas for the weekends, but during the week, it's a lot more locals or conference goers who are there then. So there is definitely advantage plays in existence. So get back to this, and what I want to do is kind of go over. I took on an assignment for somebody, did it for free, because I thought it would be useful for a lot of people, which was somebody I knew had a trip coming up to Las Vegas, so I figured it out for them and published something about 9 months ago, an article 9 months ago, and one of the things I can do, I think, is show you what that looks like. So let me try doing that. I don't know. It's all very difficult. I'm not fully conversant with this software just yet. There's things that it'll allow me to do and things that it won't allow me to do. Let me see if I can. I apologize for the technical difficulties here. Let's see if I can make that happen. I did. What I had gotten in trouble with before, I'm a technical geek, okay. These things are fun for me when they're not terribly frustrating, is I wanted to make myself small in the corner, and apparently that was a big no-no. So, but I recovered. Right, so what I want to show you over here, and one of the things I'd like to do at some point is figure out where I'm pointing. This is an article that I wrote in August. I guess this trip was in June, but I published this in August and last year, and which is recent, and I think it's all still good information. You have to get the latest statistics, but if you take a look at that. It's going to be some of what I'm going to talk about here, but also kind of how this gentleman's trip went and what else is. Hello, Catherine. Also, what he learned in that trip and kind of some of the conversations I've had since then. But if you want to go to Las Vegas to play slot machines, one of the things is some pre-work that you'll want to do. So here I talk about 7 secrets. And one of the secrets is to prepare. So get to know your Nevada gaming slots is how I put this. Check the most recent payout return statistics. And then, if you have more than a little bit of time, start listening to some of the podcasts that are exclusively about Las Vegas. I have my favorites. We'll talk about what my favorite is. And then there's like the longest running Las Vegas podcast. They're up to episode 600 or 700. And, it's 10 years of broadcasting, of having podcasts. So that's one of the things I want to talk about. But the first thing is going to be getting to know your Nevada gaming slots. Here, why don't I grab this? Right, so I will grab that, and I'll drop the link to this article on my webpage into the live chat, which should be available for everybody later at this moment in time in the video in the stream. So that's that link. But also, I wanted to talk to you about my. I look at the slots in each state. I write an article once every 13 months, so it's weekly articles, and I go through all 56 states, territories, and federal district. This is the one for Nevada, and while it's one of my longest ones because there's just a lot of casinos to have something to say about, like where they're located and what you might find. There is a section towards the end. It's like the second to the last section, just before the summary. Just before the link to the Nevada Slots Facebook group in the summary. There is this section, which is also very long for all the states because Nevada is great at this. There's a payout return section for Nevada. And here will be a link to both the regulation. One of the things that would straight up want to know is what is the theoretical payout return? What is the theoretical payout for slot machines in Nevada? What's the minimum? And it is 75%. Now, I haven't seen any slot machines get that low. It's just bad business. So thanks for the likes, everybody. I appreciate that. So if you, but it also says per wager. And I think that's for each wager available for play on the device. So some people have a concern that, well, should I bet 1 credit or maximum credit on a slot machine? And because Nevada sets the standard, and this is their law, I pulled it directly from the regulations, that means that it doesn't matter if you play 1 credit or 3 credits, you at least have this guarantee of the theoretical minimum. But the second part here is to look at this. But the second part here is to look at this Nevada Gaming Control Board and Gaming Commission. They've got a long title website, and so let's go there. So I will go to the Nevada Gaming Board. This is what the Nevada Gaming Board looks like, and I'll drop that link into our live chat. All of these will be available in the description later. If you want to look for it there, I'll add that to the description after the show. So here you've got, you're welcome. And if you slide on down just a little bit here, there we go, it's switched over, good. You will, in 15 seconds delay on the image, over on the far right, which I'll point to now, over on the far right is something called Statistics and Publications. So once that slides up just a little bit, another few seconds, you'll see this far right tab. There you go. And so I'm going to click on that Statistics and Publications and take you over to that location. And slide up a little bit. Because if you go to this location, there's a lot of information that you don't need. There is a little bit of an, let me give you that tab. Next time I might just work with images because it's, when it's live, gets kind of busy. Over here on the lower right, on the lower left, is gaming revenue information. Second from the bottom there, you should be able to make it out on the screen. If I go there, I come to this screen, which is basically month by month PDF. Why is it not filling out? Come on now. There it is. Right, so moving along now. 15-second delay. Come on. If you take the top PDF, it is the most recent month that is available. At this moment, It is November 2019 statistics, so about a month behind, which is great because a lot of places are a year behind. There we go. Now you're seeing it. And so there's a PDF file, and I'm going to click on that. I think that's enough with the sharing of the tabs. And if I click on that, then I can find it where? Yeah, there it is. So this is a huge document, 45 pages. And how, so I'm going to bring myself back into the picture. Well, not yet. When this switches over, you'll see a table. And it's basically three columns, three big columns with numbers in them. And the first section, the first row, is about table games. The second row, it's kind of in the middle of the page, is slot machines. And they will show statistics for 1 penny, 5 cent, quarter, dollar, megabucks, $5, $25, $100, multi-denominational, and total, other and total. This is where you want to go prior to your trip to Las Vegas, so you can maybe figure out an advantage play before you even get there. This report is long because they don't provide what a lot of states do, which is just for the whole state. What they do is they break this up by county. And they also break it up. Each one of these tables is about a county. But in some counties, like Clark County, which is where Las Vegas resides, it has, and this, please don't be disturbed by the number of numbers here. I'll show you the one you want to look at in a moment. But if you want to, go find Reno or Tahoe, well, North Shore, South Shore, because within the county that in Nevada that you're in, sometimes that's broken up more. Like Clark County is broken up into the Strip and downtown. They also provide the whole thing for Clark County, Strip and downtown. So you need to find the appropriate page. Page 6 is for all locations in Clark County. So this is basically the summary page. I'll talk about what else the other ones are in just a moment. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to zoom in here. And so you can see this momentarily. And I've centered on slot machines. Right, so slot machines. 1 cent, 5 cent, quarter, dollar, megabucks. No reason I can't look this way. Right, and you see all these values. Now there is a column, if I move up, this last one here in the gap is win percent. Now, one little detail here, you see this number 9%, 4%, 7%, 6%. That's not player win percent. That's casino win percent. So if you subtract this number from 100, that would turn that casino win percent into a player win percent. So what you're trying to do is find the lowest number on this table for Nevada. And this is just you're getting comfortable with these sheets because there's a way to win or improve your odds. There is megabucks, 13.24%. All right, subtracting from 100, what is that? 87. A little less, 86.76. See how even megabucks is above the 75% requirement on the theoretical minimum? There you go. So that is not the machine to play. And I tell people, don't play megabucks. Yeah, it's like playing the lottery. You've got the lowest odds by far of anything else. But let's look at 5-cent machines. Not only do we know from Nevada statistics, which is kind of the gold standard, but not everybody goes this far, but Nevada does. There are 78 5-cent machines in Clark County in November 2019. On average, for that 1 month, they have 4.58%, which, call it 5. That would make it 95%, a little bit higher than that, 95.5%, more or less. Let's take a look at that. That's the best odds out there. So maybe if you go to Clark County to play slots, 5 cents your bet. But let's say that you want to go downtown. So we will slide on up here and move on over to they break. So let's go over to downtown for all locations on that sheet, and let's see how the slot machines rank there. What is the lowest number? The multi-denominational, 96, 95.96. Right there towards the bottom. So if you were to go downtown, you would want to play one of the 15 multi-denominational slot machines because they had the best odds in November 2019. One thing to watch out for, or one thing to be aware of, while Nevada Gaming Statistics divide these settings up. Get back to this. That's kind of what I wanted to say there. I'm going to come back to this. See if I can bring myself back into the picture. I will delete that shot and move on over. Hello again. So when you look at those statistics, you can find how many machines there are within a county, all locations, or you can go to another slide just beneath it, which is going to be just for downtown, for all locations downtown, and then or the strip, all locations on the strip. But they don't go casino by casino. That's the one downside here, is that you can't find out what is it at Treasure Island because you don't have that information. There's just going to be the strip and downtown, or both combined. But there's one other small feature which I haven't been able to quite get my hands on the information. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. It is out there somewhere. It is the annual financial report of the casinos. Some of these casinos are owned by, one operator. But individually in MGM's financial report, in Caesar's Palace annual financial report, there is how much is Bally's. What's their annual revenue? Because these sheets will break up downtown and the strip and all these different places in Nevada by how much the casino makes. They don't tell you the name of the casino, but they will tell you things like, these are the statistics on the strip. Let's see, I'll bring one up. This is the statistics for the downtown Las Vegas area in Clark County, where annual revenue is $1 million or over. I can't list off the casinos that have $1 million or over because I haven't looked up that information. But you can. There's 65 casinos there. I haven't done it, but I could do it for you if you asked, and that would be under the consulting option. I think it just takes a lot of time. It takes an hour of my time to just grind through everything. But you might have another sheet on downtown for the $1 million to $12 million revenue range, and then you've got downtown 12 million and over. So you could break up all the casinos in the downtown Las Vegas area in Clark County into less than $1 million to 12 million, and over 12 million. And then you might have a better idea of where to go to win, better than just downtown. Not going to go to casino by casino. Now, I wonder, if it's going to work out where only one casino, say in the Strip, has over 12 million revenue in a month. And, it might just be, Mandalay Bay or something. So it'd be interesting to sort that out at some point. Um, Looks like Stream Health is excellent. Hi, Philly. I'm going to check the comments here. Denise, yes. Since Oklahoma is under tribal rules, do they post anything like this? Check professorslots.com/OK. I spent 5 hours writing that article, and I looked up if there's, I've scrutinized and tried to find anything that would be available. I don't have all 56 states and territories and federal district memorized, except maybe I have Oklahoma. I believe Oklahoma doesn't have anything. That was what was so interesting about Oklahoma, maybe renegotiating their tribal compacts. If they could force that to happen, then there are a few states that have written in a theoretical payout return into their gaming compact. There are a few tribal compacts at other states that have to report return statistics. It is possible to make it happen, but my memory is that Oklahoma didn't. Philly T, does your strategies apply to video poker? First off, there are winning strategies for poker. It's the same business practices. It's an electronic device. It is not the card game poker, so the odds are adjustable from afar. So any strategy that you want to try on slot machines, video or physical real type, will work on video poker. There is one small difficulty, however. At the casinos, I bet I haven't been at every state, every casino, but I think it's typical. When I go to a casino and I go into, say, the high limit room, or I walk the casino floor, there are far fewer video poker machines than slot machines. And let's say you wanted to do, as you mentioned, the 5-pull method, the 5-spin method, stop, spin. If you haven't heard of this, I call it the 5-pull method. I mentioned this before, and there'll be other videos in the future. This is where you go up to a slot machine and you want to capture the taste, which is a business practice casinos will have. The idea is to give you a win quickly so you don't get discouraged. And then I see your question, Bo. Just a second. So you don't get discouraged. The casinos, and it's very common, it's coming out to like 1 in 3 casinos, they'll give you a quick taste. And my advantage play for that casino business strategy, casino business practice, is to stop playing when you win that taste, or maximum 5 bets. So try 5 times. If you win anything, stop right then, move to the next machine. If you want to try that 5-pull method, Philly, on video poker, well, there aren't many video poker machines. You might make that taste, which might be $10 or $20, but then you try it on all 5 machines in the high limit area, 5 video poker machines in the high limit area, and you're done. And there's 45 45 slot machines in that room where you would make 10 times more on average. So yeah, it works on video poker, but all of them do. If the casino's doing that on their slot machines, then they're doing it on their video poker machines. It's just far fewer video poker machines, and that can matter. Okay, when will December's be published? That's a good question. I think they publish. Let's see. Might have it on my website for the Nevada. Well, look at it this way. That's an interesting detail. Look at it this way. The next one is December. December was 18 days ago. You're welcome, Philly. And it does take a little while to capture these things. So I would say a month. That sounds like a good number. It is at least 18 days, as we know, because it's not up. Uh, and it might be 3 weeks, it might be 4 weeks. But November's is up, and it's been 6 weeks. So somewhere between 3 weeks and 6 weeks. Also, I think I put this into the Nevada article. I don't want to spend 5 minutes trying to find it. Uh, uh, some of these have a requirement by a certain date each month, and then they have a little wording in their gaming regulations about, but if it falls on Labor Day, then it won't be that day. It'll be the day after or the day before or something like that. So they're very detailed about these things. But if you're going to go to Las Vegas, then the thing you want to do is check before you go. And if it's right around, the end of the month, the last week of the month, last 2 weeks of the month, sort of, then you might want to take a look there while you're on your trip to see it's come out. Depends on when in the month you're going. But you need the latest, and you can take a look at what are the odds for the area that you're going to? What are the odds for perhaps based on the casino, how much revenue they make? That's a little more getting into the annual reports. But at least you can see, wow, they've got high odds and 4 machines, and they've been doing it a lot. So one of the things I didn't point out, I only mentioned briefly, is that on each one of these pages on this gaming revenues, they have the current month, but they also provide the last 3 months. In a right to the right of it. Then they also provide the average for the last 12 months. So if you see something like particularly high, this is an accounting little trick. If you have brackets, parentheses around a number, they don't put a negative sign in front of it. They put parentheses around it. Some software does red, but if you if it has parentheses around it, that means it's negative, and when you subtract it from 100%, you actually get an answer that's over 100%. How can this happen? Well, maybe Megabucks had a payout. Just obliterates, the win percent. But if you look at the last 3-month average and the last 12-month average, you'll see more what the real number is. It won't be, they talk about volatility, where, it goes up and it goes down, it goes up and down, and you don't know what's going to be the next month, the month of your visit. What do? You look at the 3-month average, and you see if it's also low, if it's also the highest payout return player win percentage, or if it, is radically different. So then you could say, well, month after month it's been like this, and there's a better chance that it would be still better in the next month. And while that's statisticians would give me grief for making future predictions of past behavior, if it's been consistent, then you've got an opportunity there to watch this consistency. But remember, winning at slot machines has a random behavior to it, but the business practices. Hey, if they want that machine to win, that machine's going to not win every time you push a button, but it's going to be over 100%, or it's going to be higher than usual. And they could do that for as long as they like, because they have that technology, they have that control, and they can do that. So we look in these statistics to not see what the variability is with the randomness. We're looking at for the variability of the business practices. Oh, look, they keep on doing that with a 5-cent machine. Better go see if they're still doing it with a 5-cent machine. And that's how you think about it, because I can absolutely confirm that, if it was random behavior, which is what most people think, people who learn slots before 2012, that's how they think, is, oh, well, it's just completely random. Well, yeah, it was. Hasn't been for like 7 years now. And more casinos switch over to the new operating systems that allow them to have that kind of control. Bo, if you're going to go to Wendover on the 24th, you might want to check out my. It's basically what I've been telling you now, but I looked at the Wendover area and did the same thing, and I saw that there was excellent odds on a $100 machine, which told me that someone had won big for that month, and not to play the $100 machines, of which there were like 4 or something. I don't remember the exact number. It was just a low number, single digits. But then there was this other quarter machine that had been dime machines, and there was only like 6 of them or something like that, and they'd been consistent for like 12 months, and that's the one you wanted to play. So go read my article. You can just enter search. Let's see if I quickly do this here. Probably not. Uh, you can find the link by just going through my articles or type Wendover into the search area. Uh, hey, Bo and Catherine. Bo's going on the 24th of January, and Catherine's going on the 5th of February. So this brings up a good point. One of the things that I need to do is go to New Jersey. I can evaluate from afar, but I have been to Las Vegas a couple of times, and I saw a lot of the things that I put in the article, but I am reluctant to just do it completely from a distance. I mean, Wendover had some fantastic stuff. I haven't been to Wendover, but there was some fantastic stuff in Wendover's gaming statistics, and I'm like, hey, people should know about this and this technique, so I could easily write about it. But I haven't. I mean, someone is asking me today for Oklahoma, WinStar or Choctaw? Which one did I prefer? And I'm like, Oklahoma has no gaming statistics. Whatever one's closest to where you live, pick one. So you're not investing in two player systems, and pick the one that's closest to you because you go more often and you just figure out how to win. And that's not enough for an article. it's it's like three sentences. Uh, uh, Other people had on the group. By the way, I've got a Facebook slots communities for every state. And you can go to any of my state by state articles, professorslots.com/FB. Then the two-letter postal designation, Oklahoma, would be professorslots.com/FBOK. And if you go there, you can join and talk to other people in that state, in your state. Uh, yeah. And then, see what they have to say. And there'll be various opinions, and that's all good. Uh, ah. And Salt Lake City is what, 120 miles from Wendover. So Catherine says the closest commercial airport is Salt Lake City, only charter flights to Wendover. I think they have a former Air Force base there. That's the runway, I'm told. It might be on the Utah side. It's right on the border there between Nevada and Utah. In fact, the town kind of straddles it. And then there's, I think we're actually talking about West Wendover, Nevada, not Wendover, Utah. I think I got that right because west is west, right? So if you want to get there, drive 102 hours from Salt Lake City. Actually, I'm not sure if it's 2 hours because it might pass through mountains, but it's 120 miles. That's what I remember. And Bo, that would be a great place. I remember your name. So that would be let us know how you did on the Facebook slots communities. Uh, if you happen to take a picture, I don't know any casinos that allow it. Despite all the YouTube videos where people are recording their slots play, I can't see how it's possibly not a copyright violation. But if you happen to take a picture and you want to put it in the Facebook group, it is private, and that might be okay uh, to do occasionally. But if you have a jackpot, that would be nice to see. Uh, Thanks, Catherine, for confirming that. Okay, so we'd like to hear how it goes, Bo, and Catherine, of course. No worries about Catherine telling us. Okay, so uh, that's kind of the article as far as preparation. The tips I have for looking into stuff. But on my trip to Las Vegas twice, and it was my celebratory trip at the time, Total Rewards, now Caesars Rewards, soon to be probably something else, not that they've been bought. Um, that was my silver 7 stars uh, annual trip. The first time, both times I went on the 4th of July weekend. Got there a day before California showed up. I mean, it wasn't all of California, but it seemed like it might have been. Just crawling with people. I imagined it was like at the front of a rock concert. People were just pressed up against you, and you have a hard time moving through the crowd on the strip, which was kind of interesting in and of itself. But I got there the day before all those people showed up. Drove over for the holiday once they had it off. But I got there the day before. 4 days, 3 nights, and left the day after, so the airport wasn't busy. Never been in a limousine before, picked up from the all part of the top tier Total Rewards at the time program. Picked up by a limousine, dropped off by a limousine. First time the limousine wasn't set up properly, and I realized my mistake with that sort of thing. This is more of a players club question. I realized my mistake there was I got the trip planned like 5 days beforehand. I didn't realize that in order for this to work well, my host needed time to set things up. And it was all kind of short notice for them. And so, Catherine, I've seen people not have problems, including myself, taking pictures. But like in the BC Slots, Brian Christopher, I've watched some of the videos, and it seems as though the casino has roped off an area, and anybody who approaches them has a wristband. And I think the casino is running some sort of event, and then under those circumstances, maybe they're getting paid. Maybe they're paying him. I don't know what the contract would be, but I think about what it could be, and I think the casino is agreeing to allow him to be videotaping there. If they're roping off an area, it has to be that way, and maybe even charging admission. It has to be that way. So he's got permission from the casino to record, but he's doesn't have permission from the slot machine manufacturer, right? And they own the music, they own the game theme copyright. So I look at it, and I've considered doing that. I've considered having an aspect of this business which would be, here I am at a casino and I'm recording. And even if I were to set up arrangements as BC Slots has, still illegal. Get sued for that. $100,000 per instance. And if you wait 10 years, then it's millions. So I'm like, that I can't do that. It's not legal. So I won't. I'll do something else. But what I will do is I'll go out onto the street and take a picture from the street of the casino. That's legal. Okay. There's a few pictures that I've been using, but I try to get away from that. Anyway, right. So if you go, right. So if you, so when I was in Las Vegas, I just stayed on the Strip, didn't go downtown. And one of the things I thought was pretty interesting when I did the review was, downtown apparently it's a little crazier, a little bit more where the locals go. Those two aren't connected. And they, cater to something other than gold-plated elevators and escalators and stuff. And it's a different atmosphere. And there's also some more amusement park stuff out that way. And it's, Fremont Street, it's covered. Not only is it covered, it's outdoor, but it's covered with something that can be like starry lights, but also they can show video on the ceiling outdoors on the canopy. That's pretty interesting, right? Lots of music. And then you've got Trader Vic's, and you've got a few other things. Just to, I go into more detail in the article. Also remember that there are some wonderful gambling podcasts that are entirely focused on Las Vegas. Some of them are centered in Las Vegas. I have to give a shout out to Vegas Never Sleeps with Steve Maggi. He was one of my first interviews. He would be on one of his shows. I mean, he's a radio show, but he kind of put some of that stuff on podcasts. So, he did a two-parter for me 2 years ago. Kind of kicked off my business, or at least got me some exposure. That was great. I really do appreciate that. And he talks to, it's kind of the entertainment side. He talks to showgirls, and he talks to showrunners, and he talks to the owners of museums and some of the shops, and it's all very, it's not really talking about gambling. It's talking about Las Vegas. But there are others like 500 by Midnight. This is the one I was telling you about at the beginning. I think there might be up to 700 shows at this point. And Hundy is Hundy. Basically, it's a slang term for 100. And it's a movie scene from a movie that came out 10 years ago or more, where someone was like, that's right, I'm going to get 500 by midnight. And they called the show that. It has been that way for 10 or more years. 360 Vegas, my favorite. These guys are, Mark and Dr. Mike, are on You Can Bet on That. And they are in California. One of those people in California who goes to Las Vegas practically every weekend because it's not exactly a short drive, but it isn't too long. And they'll often do that. Gambling with an Edge. This is a video poker guy, Bob Dancer, Richard Munchkin. And if you know video poker, then you've probably got his software and his books and whatnot. But he has a podcast. It kind of moves around. It was a radio show. And Gambling with an Edge has all that going on. Now, they talk to security guards and different aspects. They're gamblers who won't give their name, and they have a voice synthesizer to disguise their voice, and it's kind of its own little thing, if you like that. Vegas Confessions is where people talk about, well, I went to Vegas. You know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, this is a podcast where you confess what you did in Vegas. And my favorite, Steve, it's not Steve. It is, what is his name? I'm so sorry. He was so kind. Scott Robin. He tweets like a fiend. He's got like 20 tweets a day, and he talks about, well, this show is left, I hear, and he's like a Vegas insider, and he talks about contract deals and who's going to come in and, what's happening over there, and this is rumored to be sold, and by golly, it is, and there's a criminal investigation there, and he just knows before everybody else, and he's on the local news as a commentator there in Las Vegas, and he has Vital Vegas, and I just think the world of him. Just enthusiastic and just you won't regret it. And none of them have offered me money or anything like that. I'm just saying these are the ones I've listened to, and I've learned a lot from them. So downtown versus the Strip. Downtown, it has great casinos. It has museums. It has a zip line. Remember that for Fremont Street canopy I was telling you about? Zip line over top of it. So you can do that. And out-of-towners tend to be at the Strip, but downtown is where many locals will go. And that's all divided up in the gaming statistics. So the other thing I need to talk about is I've shown you only some of the statistics from Nevada. There's another group of statistics which, if you go to the Nevada Gaming Board, you can find, which is not the full monthly statistics, but there is enough to find out number of slot machines and win percentage. It's under those many statistics and publications. I think it might be under revenue, where you can find the weekly. Those values are actually added up week by week. So, Bo, when you asked about this, there is another location which I haven't dug out, which will tell you what the statistics were for like 2 weeks ago, just for that week. I don't like those so much because you don't know what it was the week before. You don't know if it's a fluctuation or if it's steady at a good number. But what's interesting about that is the casinos report weekly to the gaming board. The gaming board then takes those numbers and makes a monthly report that comes out, we said 4 to 6 weeks later. But you can get the weekly reports sooner. And that might be interesting to look at because it's more recent. But the point I'm trying to make here is the casinos report weekly, not daily. They're reporting the numbers for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If they lower their odds to the basement on Saturdays and Sundays, a little bit of Friday, and then raise them during the week, it's totally legal. Totally legal. It is legal. It is okay to do that because the gaming regulations don't say you can't do it. And they do this. Confirmed by multiple people who have gone there. If you've gone there yourself, if you are there for a conference and gamble on the weekends, or excuse me, gamble on the evenings, gamble in the morning before you have to be where you have to be, it's going to be a little tiring, gamble during the week. Because once you get free, let's say your flight's on Sunday morning and your conference is over at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, from what, 10 o'clock in the morning is what I was reported to me by people who have gone. By 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, through sometime late Sunday night, the odds are tight. All right, they're low. Where when you add in Monday through 10 o'clock on Friday statistics, they actually come out over the legal requirement. Well, they come out. No, that's not accurate. They're always going to be over the legal requirement of 75%, but it might be 75% on the weekends, as low as 75%. It can't legally be lower, but it can drop that low, and during the week you can make it 95%. And on average, you'll have what? It's hard to balance this out, but it's somewhere in between, 85%. And that's what you get in the report. Let me quickly check comments because I've been talking for a little while. You have read it, okay, Bo. Catherine, yep, airports. Catherine, correct, airport. All right, greener pastures. Go on a BC slot group poll and see how they do it. I have been to a slot poll, not a BC slot poll, greener pastures. You have a contract. Somebody has to accept the W-2Gs, and you only bet as much as you bring, you collect from the people. One of the things that Eric Rosenthal, who you may or may not know, is kind of one in some of the podcasts that I mentioned. He's a very knowledgeable gentleman, and he ran the one that I was at, and I was the one that took the W-2Gs because it was mostly table game players that were there, and they didn't even know. They don't get W-2Gs, rarely get W-2Gs, and I'm like, I'll just add it to my 50. What's one more? And it was really not slots players at slot pools often. And that means they don't know some stuff. In fact, there's a lot of stuff people don't know about what I'm teaching. It's kind of a barrier for me to have to convince everybody, but it's things are people are starting to go and try it and see that it works and come back and report, and that's building things up here for me. But on a slot pool, that's not like going to a casino by yourself. You're not wandering the casino picking out stuff. These slot pools are actually high limit slot pools. I don't know of a slot pool that isn't high limit. So you go into the slot machine, high limit slot area, and you pick a machine. And what I was able to do was convince people at the slot pool that I was at Foxwoods was, let's try the one next to it. Let's try the one next to it. Because I was trying to get it to hit a taste. And we did get one, $4,800. But we had, how much did we have? I think we had $10,000. Yeah, it's like $8,400. And the rules of the game were we had to win more than that in order to stop playing, and we didn't. And so we kept going, and we spent all of it, and we didn't win. I figure when I looked into these odds, you needed like 100 to 120 pulls to have a potential of winning on whatever denomination. If you're going to play a $100 slot machine, that's 100 to 120 $100 bills, right? So 18,000, 15,000, 12,000. 8,400 was well short. Anyway, BC Slots is great for what they're doing, but do remember if you go to their website, Brian does say that there's no such thing as a winning strategy. It's all random, which is the old style thinking. Which is, I don't know if that's actually his opinion. It does give him a wider audience to start his business. Might have been a business decision. It's hard for me to imagine that he hasn't seen the stuff that I've seen, but I think he made a decision in his business that he wasn't going to talk about winning slot strategies because it would just not allow his business to grow as much as if there's plenty more people out there who just go for fun, and that's what he's focusing on. Anyway, it's business stuff. Denise, you may have answered this somewhere, but so much to read, I have not seen it. Actually, I've only got like 50 articles. I should have 300, but if you say it's a lot to read, okay. You talk about your payouts in 9 months, 1 year, as curious as you still gamble. Yeah, I got that question, and one of the things I was going to talk about here is I went to the bank an hour, this morning and picked up some cash. And tomorrow I'll go out to the casino, make it a regular thing. Because as I mentioned last time, I'm not going into high limit areas. It's a full-time job. I'm not going into high limit areas at my local casino. It doesn't help you if I do that, because if I play for myself, I will find a way to win at that casino. If not that one, then the next one. I'll find a way to win. And I'll only do that for 6 months to make money. How does that help you? I need to go to a bunch of different casinos, explain what I saw there, move on to the next one. I need to do, okay, I did Las Vegas, all right? I did Wendover. Well, I need to do Atlantic City, Detroit, Michigan, Indiana, all the ones in Ohio. Why am I not doing all the ones in Ohio? Figure out how to win there and move on. That's not making money. That's helping you, and I prefer to help you. So I thought I'd get back into that. Last year was a lot of this, getting things set up for this, and it was just a lot of my time. But this year, I need to see what machines are out there, see if I can pick up another winning slot strategy, and figure half the casinos that I go to from now on weekly, one will be like my local casino where I'll try to figure out how to win, maybe try different games to see if there's anything I can say about it. I don't like different gaming themes as a way to win, because a whole row of them, one's the winner and one's not. It can be set up any way that they want it to be set up. And I like the one on the end of the row that has a view of the bar because instead of the one that's supposedly identical right next to it, which doesn't have that view, because I'm all about business practices, not about game themes. But, I want to see what's going on at one of my casinos and maybe not lose money. But I'm not going to play in high limits, which is where you make money, because, $100 win on a slot machine outside of the high limit room becomes a $10,000 win inside the slot machine room, high limit. And so, yeah, I'm going to go back to weekly. But my intent is to learn how to win at one casino, move on to the next one. And learning to win costs money. And I'll report back. Why don't I just make it a regular thing where I talk about that for a few minutes, where my last visit was. So next Saturday, I'll talk about where I go tomorrow and what I learned, and see if I have statistics on these videos, and I'll see, if the people watching just drop off or it picks up, and then I'll know whether or not I should do more of that. But whether or not I talk about it on the live sessions for a few minutes every week, I will certainly go every week, unless I'm traveling or something. The intent is to get back into the habit of going every week, whatever casino. Maybe I'll do a review. Maybe I'll just learn something, just help. So thank you for asking me about that. I did want to say that before I got to the end of our live session here. Just things are always changing one year to the next, and last year was like not enough trips to do that. But on the other hand, I got YouTube started. so this year, every week, probably forever, barring illness or work travel. Right. So, anything else I wanted to say about visiting Las Vegas? So Scott Robin at Vital Vegas, he talks about Old Faithful. So he found a winning slot machine, which is based on it's viewable from a distance. That kind of strategy where the casino has higher odds on it because it draws people into the other slot machines, which don't have higher odds. And he posted a photo of this slot machine he calls Old Faithful on Twitter. And I've looked it up because I'd heard him mention it, but he only posted a photo once. And I found that link. And if you go to my article on 7 secrets to winning on your next visit to Las Vegas, down in section 7, candidate winning slot machines in Las Vegas, Scott posted a photo and there's a link to the photo. It's a 2-credit, $5 denomination, progressive Wheel of Fortune machine. $5 denomination means it's high limit, and it's in a high limit room. Some people were asking me, is it this one or is it this one? So I sent them a picture which shows the cashier's cage on the right and the other slot machines that are around it, and you kind of walk into that section of 4 queens in downtown Las Vegas over by the cashier's cage in the high limit room. And in case that wasn't specific enough, there's a photo on my website under section 7 showing what it looks like. And don't play if you can't, bring enough to play $100 bets. So you're going to need, what is that? $10 bets, two credit, $5 denomination, $10 bets. Need to do at least 100. So you need $1,000 to $1,200 to give yourself a chance to win. If you want to try the 5 pull method, then you're going to need $50. And from what he was saying, it might be set up to win, or it might be the 5 pull method might be enough. But that's a little pricey, but this has some backing on it, and check it out. So this is what I wanted to offer. Let's see. Right. So that's right. James was the one who I wrote this article for, and he came back a couple months afterwards and told me how things went. And he said that 4 Queens has set up to allow the 5 pull method. So their business practice provides a quick win or taste followed by no wins. So try my 5 pull at 4 Queens if you go to Las Vegas in downtown area. See if that's, be careful, but see if that's still in play. It has been 4 months or so. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I wanted to go over. So, any last comments? Hi, Deb S. You're late coming in. That's fine. Welcome. Wise Virgin, Richard, I believe, professional slot player friend of mine refuses to play an isolated Indian tribal casino in western North Carolina. Is there any way to get their non-published statistics? Do you know they are renovating heavily? Check my professorslots.com/NC slots article. I put a lot of thought into that. I don't remember everything that you can find there. If you say they're non-published, then you can't get them. If you're a member of the tribe in a leadership role, or you know somebody who is, you might, but I'm not entirely sure that's legal because they might be violating a contract. So, no. I mean, it would be great if we could get these sorts of things from several different locations, several different states. Anybody who's not a government entity is questionable. All we can go by is, like you said, they're renovating heavily. What must this mean? Well, how did they pay for that originally? Well, they probably had low odds. What will they do after they pay for it? After they finish renovating? Well, probably still have low odds. Tribal casinos, one thing to remember is they can't be sold. So there's no kind of making things better for a short term while they make themselves attractive to a buyer. So that's off the table, as it were. If it's not available, then we have to look at other things. We have to figure it out without it. And there's plenty of states which don't provide anything near what Nevada provides. And for people in those states who are asking me about statistics, I'm like, there aren't any. And by there aren't any, I mean, there aren't any. So we have to figure things out with less information. Deb S., I am late coming in. Are you saying only do 5 pulls on any machine? That is a winning strategy. It's based on a business practice that we're taking advantage of, where the casino has set up a taste within the first few wins. And when you find a casino is doing that, then my suggestion is 5 wins, 5 bets. If you win on the second bet, stop then, move on to the next one. Once you find a casino doing this business practice on a slot machine in their building, in their casino, then every slot machine in that casino is set up that way, including the ones in the high limit room that are poker, video poker. But if they're not doing it, then they're not doing it. We can't make them do it. We have to find what they're doing and then figure out how to turn that back on them. And I've done that for like 7 different things, like holidays and busy nights and, come back the next morning. There's an answer to the business practice, but it's up to them to have the business practice. And so many of them do that. And that's really a lot of what these are my winning slot strategies. I'm taking advantage of what the business practice is. Okay, so time's up. I want to wish everybody a very wonderful weekend, and I will be here a week from Saturday. Haven't figured out what the topic would be, but I'll come up with something. If you have a suggestion, email me or send me a comment or something on one of the Facebook groups, Facebook communities, or just email me, whatever, and let me know. Otherwise, subscribe and like and comment. These are all appreciated as I grow. I'm up to 250 subscribers. I think I was like 100 subscribers a month ago. On my way to 1,000. Woohoo! There's a goal for you. So everybody, have fun, be safe, make good choices. Bye.